What is going on, everyone? Back for another video today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite techniques to catch springtime bass here in the warmer months. It just started to warm up finally here in Texas. If this isn't applying to you yet, just wait a little bit. This is by far probably one of the most fun ways to catch bass during the springtime. All right, guys, before we get too far in this video here, I want to let you know there is going to be a demo package at the end of the video, so make sure to stay tuned till the very end and go watch it, or just go straight down to the link and check it out. We're going to be talking about speed cranking, specifically with 3 lures in front of me that we're going to break down, as well as give you some rod and reel setups, how everything affects the setup, going from like the line, your hooks, and everything like that. I've got real examples here that I like to use on a day-to-day. Also got some rod examples right here that we're going to be talking about as well. So buckle up, got some cool stuff. We've got the small business showcase in a week and a half, kind of. The 21st and 22nd, Saturday, Sunday, from I think it's like 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, something like that. So I have to double check the times. I'm gonna have the banner over here for y'all, so make sure to check that out. Guys, speed cranking in the springtime is one of the best ways to get fish to react. Now, everyone's gonna be throwing a chatterbait, everyone's gonna be throwing a spinnerbait, swim jig. Those are great options. However, to get fish to be able to react to your lure, and something that chatterbaits and spinnerbaits and almost all other baits don't do, is rise up. And that is what you can take advantage of with speed cranking in the springtime. Now, number one, this is going to be a very technique specific way to catch fish, and you can do it a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be on any of the rods or reels that we talk about in this video. But if you do me a big favor, check out Lake Pro Tackle. We've got so much cool stuff in stock for y'all, and I definitely want to share it with y'all. We got $50 free shipping. So let's go ahead and dive into my top 3 speed cranking crankbaits that you can really burn at ultra fast, high speed retrieves and get those fish to react. So number 1, what I look for in the springtime is typically going to be a little bit warmer water. So typically the northern half of your lake, if you're in the northern hemisphere, is going to be warming up a lot faster, typically with shallower water, at least here in Texas. But the main thing to note is just look for that warmer water. Typically those early spawning coves or really good spawning pockets are going to be about 3 to maybe 4 degrees warmer, and that's what you want to look for. Now, the second thing you want to look for is going to be actual pieces of cover and structure, whether it's hard bottom, brush, timber, anything like that that those bass can sit on and stage and or spawn. Now, when it comes to the speed cranking technique, I really like a 7-speed or 8-speed gear ratio. There's a lot of guys out there that really enjoy a 6-speed or even like a 5-speed, especially for deep cranking to get that extra torque, but you have to really crank it ultra fast. When it comes to the speed cranking technique in the springtime, you want as fast as you can get. Realistically, the only thing I'm throwing most of these crankbaits on is an 8-speed. That way I can reel normal and then burn it real quick and pause. Burn it real quick and then pause. And those slight pauses are gonna give those bass just that split second momentary decision where they are like, man, I hear it, I see it coming at me. Let me see if I can go hit it and go get it out of my area. And keying into that instinctual reactive bite is what triggers a lot of fish to either move off their little area and or chase it down to actually go get a meal. So what I like to do in the springtime when it comes to my crankbaits here. So all these crankbaits are made for running extremely fast and don't blow out even with bigger line sizes, which is important for fishing around heavier cover. My number 1 choice, and probably the number 1 choice for a lot of people, is going to be this 1.5 square bill. A very common square bill. This is a Lucky Craft DRS, and the DRS stands for the deep rattle sound. It's got this little tungsten ball in there, and it makes a really nice noise as it moves through the water. Now, why do I like the DRS as opposed to just the standard 1.5 or really any other standard 1.5? Is actually not going to be the rattle. It's actually going to be the way this bait balances and moves at higher speeds. With this extra rattle in here, I can burn this even on 16, maybe even 17-pound line a lot of times and still have this bait run extremely true. Now, square bills, they are known for being that kind of all-terrain crankbait to where you can dig this into dirt, you can dig this into rocks, you can dig this into trees and brush, and it's not going to get hung up as much as your standard crankbaits. Another thing that I like to do to minimize the amount of snags that I get is going to be sizing down my back hook. A lot of time will keep my front hook, and that's going to be the one closest to the bill. I'll keep that front hook kind of the stock size. So if this is a size 6, I'm going to keep it a size 6, but I'll leave this back hook as a size 8, a little bit smaller because it's the main one that's swinging around and gets caught more often than not. So again, going back to the reason why I love the DRS over kind of that standard square bill is actually going to be the weighting and how that weight transfer actually balances the bait so you're able to run it very, very fast through denser cover. Now, technique specifically, a lot of people will throw this on 10, maybe 12. I'm saying go up to like 15 to 17. Work this with your rod tip up, especially in shallower water. All you got to do is just tick that brush, tick that buck brush, anything like that. Just either tick bottom sometimes, and you're going to minimize the amount of times you get snagged up with those smaller hooks, as well as be able to run through all of that dense cover. So that guy right there, number one, I really love that 1.5 square bill, 15, 17 pound line, a little bit smaller hook in the back, and I don't oversize the hooks at all. I like to work this just like I would a chatterbait in those tight areas, spinnerbait, stuff like that. Color, totally up to you. Match it to your water clarity. Natural colors like bluegill and even something bright like this, like chartreuse, is great for that speed retrieve. You're just crank, 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 slight pause, keep going. Crank, 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 slight pause, keep going. And that is the cadence you want to follow. Now, obviously, you can still get bit going really, really slow, but I think a lot of times anglers miss a lot of bites, especially going out early in the pre-spawn. You can get a lot of them just on a standard retrieve. As those fish start getting picked off here and there, you're going to want to mix in those slight pauses and speed ups. Just change that cadence, but keep that same speed. Next up, probably my all-time favorite, just speed demon specific, is going to be the Mega Bass, ORC, standing for over rev crank. You see that bill there? It's a little bit different from your standard square bill or even really any bill out there. It is almost straight, like perpendicular to the bait. It is a very wide, very kind of convex bill. Catches a lot of water. You can really burn this bait in. Again, over rev crank. It is a little bit bigger in profile overall than the 1.5 square bill, as you can see here. So it's a good bait fish imitator, whether it is a shad or bluegill running up. And the pyramid body as well on this bait, it slightly tapers up towards the back. And what that allows it to do is get a good wobble, but really maintain that straight shooter kind of retrieve. And that bill, again, it kind of goes out, creating a lot of wake and displacement in the water, and you can really burn this in. I highly suggest you throw this on at least 15-pound line if you've got some dense cover. Again, I will size down the hooks, and with this one, unlike the square bill that rides very, very kind of angled in the water, this one doesn't do that as much. So I will size down both hooks to either 6s or 8s, depending on how dense a cover I'm fishing. Of course, Mega Bass makes so many amazing colors. This is Kasumi Ito. I mean, an absolute work of art, guys. There's some really, really good other colors like Kankuro and Gigi Gill, but this is going to be a great one for ultra fast retrieves. You will need a little bit heavier rod on this one. It has a great casting system. You can hear it in there, just really, really loud. And you don't need a very specialized reel like you would maybe with this guy here to throw the ORC. Last up, a little bit different. This one does not have any sound at all. This is the Depths Evoke 2.0. This is going to be a little bit deeper diving square bill style lure. You see that, I mean, oversized square bill on this 2.0. It has some really, really cool colors in it. We don't have a ton right now, so make sure to go get them while they last. This guy right here is silent again, doesn't have any rattle, and this is a great one for those really, really pressured fish. As we start getting later in the year towards the actual spawn and post spawn, this is going to be a great one to try, as well as the pre-spawn. Don't get me wrong. I will typically change the front hook to a much smaller. This one here, the 2.0, comes with, I believe, either size 4 or size 5 treble hooks, which are going to be a lot bigger than your standard kind of like size 6 or sometimes 8 on like a 1.0 size square bill. This one here, it has a great side-to-side wobble. I mean, just head rolling, head rolling, head rolling. And when you pause it, this one is actually very, very high float, which is really, really good. So what that's going to do is allow this bait to go, 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 and come up and pop up. But again, the main beauty of this bait is going to be that oversized bill. With that rod tip up and heavier line, you're going to be able to do a lot of things that you're not used to doing with your standard square bill or any other bait, crankbait for that matter. Is it's going to pop up and really just kind of stay true like a rattle trap. It's going to really have a great hunting action. If you are familiar with like a hybrid hunter or like a movement, something like that, where they just don't see this kind of like chatterbait style movement where that head is really rolling side to side. Absolutely love the Evoke 2.0 in the springtime. Now, again, setups are going to be very, very similar. That 15 to 17 pound line for that power cranking in the spring. The same same style reel that you'd use for your chatterbaits or spinnerbaits or swim jigs, anything like that, I would highly suggest using that. But I've got 3 reels here that are going to be kind of my go-tos for these techniques. Not really big reels. I'm going to be using a 100 size or smaller. And actually, I think I've got, yeah, I mean, I guess this technically is 100 size. This one here, starting out at the cheapest price point, is going to be the Lew's Custom Gen 3. This is going to be kind of that new Paramag braking system. It is a very, very light reel, so it's able to be able, you're going to be able to roll cast and make short target casts very, very easily with this custom here. It's not going to be the smoothest in the world. Of course, there's a lot more expensive than it and a lot more that are overall smooth, but this is a dream and a beauty to fish because of the brake settings on the side plate, as well as being able to actually just make easy casts all day long. Again, 12-pound line, you're going to get around 100 yards, but as you go up to like that 15, 17, you're still going to have around 80 to maybe like 65 yards, which is plenty. You don't need to make ultra, ultra long casts. You want to be able to control that lure as much with the rod as you possibly can. Jumping up a price point, about $120, $150, Corrado 70 MGL. I got an 8-speed right here. This is my all-time favorite reel in this size frame. Very, very small, easily palmable, ultra smooth as well. I mean, those micro module gears in here make it just easy to fish, which I absolutely love. The drag system's super good on it, as well as the SVS Infinity, allowing you to go from a 1.5 to an ORC, changing that initial inertia on your cast. So it makes it really, really easy to change. Of course, you got the SVS Infinity on the spool, you've got the magnetic braking on the side, and you have your tension knob. So everything very, very streamlined, allowing you to go from many different styles of lures, all on one reel, which is really nice. Speaking of changing from different styles, Metanium DC is going to be my final one, and I was hesitant to put this on the list actually. This being a DC reel, it is actually still very, very light overall. It has that core solid feel, and it really just puts that center weight in your hand, allowing you to make easy roll cast, allowing you to skip up areas as well as work through cover. Now, this is a 70 size, so you're gonna go have a minimal amount of line that you're going to be able to use on ultra long casts, especially moving into that 17-pound line. I highly suggest using anywhere from that 15, 16 on this guy here. Now, being core solid, again, it is going to be a little bit heavier. On paper, it says it's the same weight as the Metanium MGL. I don't believe that's the case. This one feels heavier in the hand, and I think it has a lot to do with the off balance. Of course, the DC system is found in the side plate here. You can go from nylon to fluoro to braided line, and then adjust your setting accordingly for the actual braking. So really, really easy stuff. I do like to change the handle out to a little bit bigger handle. This is the XG model. I believe this is an 85, maybe 97, something like that, mil handle. I like a little bit bigger, especially for the speed cranking technique. Now, when it comes to the rods, I've got 4 different examples here. Most of these I've already talked about, and we're just going to go over them real quick for the purpose of this video. These are all going to be cranking style rods, and what that means is it's going to bend very, very deep down into the blank. Most of these are going to be a medium to medium plus range, kicking it off at the best price point rod, I think, for under 150 bucks, the Halo HFX series. This is the 6/8 medium heavy cranking. So being a medium heavy, you're able to even throw this bigger ORC. I have thrown a lot of bigger crankbaits on this. I have thrown a DT14, a DT12, and this rod can actually handle quite a bit bigger if you want it to. But at the low end, with the really soft tip section being a cranking style rod, you can throw even down to like a 1.0 or even jerkbait on this if you really wanted to. This one here, it is, again, medium heavy, but it's a mod fast, and this is going to act like a glass cranking rod without the extra weight. Very, very lightweight rod for anything in this price range. Very, very cool. So HFX from Halo. Moving on to probably one of my all-time favorite rod series, the Daiwa Kage. This one here is the 7-foot model crank. So this one is really, really good for that moderate distance casting when it comes to crankbaits. Being 7-foot medium, this one here has that full bend curve, a little bit different. It doesn't use that kind of glass looking rod. So this Halo is very, very thick in the back section. It doesn't weigh a lot, trust me guys, but one of those aesthetic things, Daiwa has figured out how to get the thin blank in a cranking style rod, which is really, really nice. So this rod bends extremely, extremely easily. Loads up really well, and that's one of the things I would suggest with this rod. As you're throwing a 1.5 or a 1.0 or really any bait, you want to make sure you load this as much as possible. So that means on your back cast, let it sit back there for an extra like split second and then fire it forward. It's going to give you the best performance for your reels as well. You're not going to be putting a little whiplash in there and getting a little bird's nest. So moving on here, probably the best target specific rod if you've got very dense cover and you need to make target specific casts, the Orochi X10 Rapid Viper. This is a 6'10", and this is going to be a medium F3, I believe. Yep, F3, very, very soft tip section. So this is going to be more along the lines of your 1.5 as well as your 2.0. The ORC is still a little bit heavy for it, but again, you can translate this rod over to 1.0 square bills, other 1.5 square bills. You can throw a lot of different things on this. It's actually really good for braid. So if you like throwing braid to leader, this is a really good one for that. I don't suggest it on the Kage. HFX does take braid pretty decent. So the Rapid Viper, a little bit shorter section here. Ultra, ultra light combo. When you pair it up with the Metanium DC, feels a little heavy. So I would suggest going with the custom. It's going to feel really good. Or, of course, maybe a Daiwa SVTW Lite, perhaps. Definitely check that one out. Up on the website right now. And then finally, had to include this one, a Megabass P5 Z-Crank ISIL. And this one has a little bit longer section in the back here. Very, very similar overall in performance to the Kage. It's actually going to be the same length. It's a 7-foot rod. It's a medium. I think it's an F3.5. Yeah, F3.5. So overall, I believe it is just a little bit more powerful, but they bend very, very similar, which is really nice. So you get a great bang for your buck with the Kage, but if you want the top of the top, you want that extra lightness, that light feel, this P5 right here, balance is superb. All the components are ultra premium on the P5s from Megabass. So really cool stuff, guys. If you have any questions, make sure to comment them down below. Those are going to be my go-to rods, go-to reels, and go-to baits. And I hope you enjoyed the video here, because the next video, we're going to be talking about some really, really neat stuff. Some crankbaits, as well as some other wire baits, moving baits, stuff like that for the springtime. All right, guys, here is the demo package. The 3 crankbaits we talked about in today's video, the ORC, Kasumi Ito, Chartreuse Blackback DRS, as well as the Evoke from Debs here in Pond Gill. You're gonna get those 3 crankbaits that we talked about, as well as 2 packs of hooks here. We got a size 4 and a size 6, BKK Spear 71. Of course, go check out the link in the description for the demo package. First one to gets it, and good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, if you aren't subscribed, do me a huge favor. Go subscribe to the channel. It is absolutely free. Like the video if you enjoy them, and we will see you next time in the next video here at Lake Pro Tackle. See you guys.